Marathon killed Destiny. That is a statement that I'm seeing getting thrown around right now after hearing the announcement of Destiny 2 ending. And this video would have been up yesterday, but I ain't gonna lie, your boy was kind of grieving a bit because I've been playing Destiny 2, or Destiny in general, Destiny 1, for 10 years. Literally from high school through college, all the way till now. So it did feel like a part of my life kind of died a bit, because a lot of the friends I made and the clan I made and all that type of stuff is all because of Destiny. Destiny brought me closer and find new people that now today I call lifetime friends. Like, Destiny was a huge part of my life. So hearing how it's going out right now, it was a somber note. It was a somber note. But I've been hearing Marathon killed Destiny, and it's kind of true, but some nuance to it. It's not black and white like that. So I want to go over the information here and basically explain what killed Destiny and the future for Bungie, in case some people don't realize in my little speculations here and stuff, right? So let's get into it. What actually killed Destiny was ill will with the player base. Bungie lost a lot of trust with the player base from multiple missteps and mistakes that they had made throughout the years of Destiny lifetime. So the first misstep was the content vault that happened. They sunsetted a lot of the content in Destiny 2 that to this day you cannot go back and play it, and will never go back and be able to play it even when Destiny is shut down now. You won't be able to play Red War, the first story of Destiny 2, and a couple of the expansions that got sunsetted. So some planets got sunsetted, so some destinations you're never gonna see, like Titan, Mercury, stuff like that. Certain like seasonal events you will never be able to play, like Expedition Protocol and stuff, which is my favorite personally on Mars. You just will never see these events ever again, or stories in the game ever again. So even if someone comes to Destiny as a new player right now and play Destiny 2, they will not be able to play all the amazing moments in Destiny 2. Even some of the raids and strikes and stuff are going, like, they will never experience it. So it's kind of bittersweet. It feels good that I was a veteran player, because I did get to play all the meaningful moments, and new players will never get to experience those. So it do feel some type of like VIP exclusivity there, but also it do suck that people won't get to experience the beautiful moments that I experienced and memories that I got from Destiny 2 and playing it, because it's not in the game. So it's a little bittersweet there. And I heard they're doing a bundle package for people to buy all the expansions for a cheaper price and get to enjoy Destiny 2 while this is the last update, but they will never get the full experience, sadly. So that right there was the first misstep Bungie did, and they try to tie it up with a beautiful bow to make it seem like, don't worry, we just doing this to save space in the game, and we will be transferring the content in and out of the game, doing seasonal moments to bring some freshness to it and revive it and stuff. The only thing they revived was old raids from Destiny 1. They never did bring back any of like the old stuff back into the game. And I know some people saying, bring it back in the game now that the Destiny 2 is ended. They can't do that. They with a more upgraded system now compared to when those expansions and seasons were in the game, and that will cost money and time in order for them to be able to bring it back in the game. So it's impossible. In Red War, they lost the lawsuit with that one. It's impossible to get the original story of Destiny 2 brought into the game. So that was the first misstep and lost the trust of players, because a lot of people put money into the game for these expansions just for their money to get taken away. And me personally, I feel like, hey, I played it, so I don't feel like my money was wasted. But there are conservative people out there that feel like, hey, if I paid for it, it should always stay inside the game regardless. It should not be taken out. And I get both sentiments. I get both of them. The second misstep was Lightfall. Lightfall ended up being a terrible expansion, and it kind of ruined everything for Destiny at Bungie. And it had a chain reaction. It triggered a chain reaction. There are too many players that I talked to and know that left Destiny the moment Lightfall did terrible. Like, Witch Queen was such an amazing expansion. It's also part of the reason why Sony bought Bungie, because of Witch Queen did so amazing and how Pete was able to even get the deal on the table to begin with. Witch Queen did such one of the highest highs in Destiny, and for it to be followed up by Lightfall, a lot of people quit Destiny at that moment. You know, it was just that terrible, and because of that, it ended up fumbling a lot, and we'll get into that. Then Bungie tried to make new IPs after said fumble during this time, once Sony, you know, decided to get them, right? And this was just a bad thing for their finances, because Lightfall failed so terribly, their finances did not hit the peak that they needed to, based off in Sony eyes, when they did do the buying of them, right? So this led to budget cuts from Lightfall doing terrible, and this led to the first layoffs in Bungie back in October 2023. I won't be seeing the dates for all these things, but I do remember that. It was back in October 2023. So that was the first time Bungie got its layoffs, and their revenue had dropped by like 45%. And this ended up causing Final Shape to be delayed for 6 months. And then this also caused Marathon to get delayed to 2025, when Marathon was supposed to be already shipped and out the door to help Bungie with more financial, you know, benefits inside their company. So this ended up causing Marathon to step on the toes of Destiny when it came to development. So Lightfall was literally the first nail in the coffin that killed Destiny because of how terrible it was. Final Shape ended up coming out, and it was an amazing expansion. But because Lightfall was such a terrible expansion, a lot of the player base left the game and never came back for Final Shape. I think Morse Critical had dropped the video and said he left doing Lightfall. Like, a lot of people left after Lightfall was a terrible expansion, so they didn't get to enjoy and see the amazingness of Final Shape that ended the Light and Dark saga. So because of that, 1 month later, after Final Shape launched, there was a second round of layoffs that happened in Bungie. I'm assuming maybe they looked at it like, we don't need that many staff, since this is probably where they thought they was going to end the saga for Destiny 2 and try to develop Destiny 3. But because Final Shape didn't hit the profit margins they was going for, because of Lightfall doing ill will to the community and trust, you know, losing trust with Bungie with its player base, the layoff still happened. And instead of Pete Parson over here saying, okay, I'm just gonna cut my salary down so we can keep our staff, so we can bounce back, he decided, nope, we finna cut some employees in the staff because I want to buy my cars. And it's kind of crazy that they can't sue this man for ruining a full company like this, but that's what happened. And Pete Parson ended up being another misstep in Bungie's 10-year span that kind of ruined them beyond belief. During this second round of layoff, big Bungie names were a part of that wave of layoff. Like, you know, I believe Joe Blackburn and stuff, right? So they also had lost their creative team during this time as well, during this layoff, which will explain why Edge of Fate and any other future episodes that came after Final Shape felt very bland, dry, and just outright terrible, because their creative team just wasn't there anymore. They just got put on to different projects within the Sony company, right? During this time, Bungie also had canceled their other IPs because of them losing money. Now, in my opinion, the moment they seen Lightfall did terrible with his whole year of expansion with the season stuff, they should have been canceled those IPs to save money, and then take those people that are working on new IPs to work on Marathon, so they can just focus on 2 games to carry the Bungie, you know, franchise. That's what I think they should have did, but they didn't do that. They still went full throttle and ended up wasting money on other IPs that ended up just getting canceled to begin with. Because of those layoffs, Bungie went from a 1,600 staff company to a 850 workers. And because of that, they were still expected to produce the same amount of product with half the staff, half the workforce, which was just like, what? Impossible. How? You're expecting that, Sony? What? So, after saying all of that, how did this wrap around back to Marathon killed Bungie / Destiny, despite already, being delayed as a big problem, a part of that, right? That's part of the reason why Destiny died, because Marathon's supposed to be already shipped, but it didn't get to ship, right? Marathon's game director, Chris Barrett, was fired after sexual harassment in the workplace, which ruined the direction of the game, causing development time to go even longer because they had to find a new game director and they had to do a 180 on the vision of what they wanted Marathon to be, because obviously game directors got different perspectives on what they want the game to be. Even though the new game director for Marathon is amazing so far, that did make development even harder for Marathon to get shipped out the door. Then Marathon went through the plagiarized art scandal and had a terrible beta feedback on the gameplay and graphics in the game, which delayed the release date of Marathon from 2025 to 2026. So now all of this is still stepping on toes of Destiny, because Destiny is already in a tough state on trying to figure out what are we going to do with this IP after Final Shape. We need to find a good story, good gameplay and stuff, so that we can get our players back on board. We need to be able to start over, right? And if Marathon was out the door, in my personal opinion, if Marathon was out the door already, then Bungie could have definitely ended Destiny 2 at Final Shape and started developing Destiny 3 while Marathon was the main focus during that time. Destiny 2 could have been in maintenance mode, and they could have had some time to work on Destiny 3 while Marathon is the prime focus during that time. But that's not what happened, sadly. All were bad for Destiny, because each time Marathon had an issue, Bungie siphoned staff and resources away from Destiny to work on Marathon, which was terrible because they already had half the workforce they were used to in the studios. The PvP team was taken away from Destiny and thrown on Marathon because Marathon is a PvP game. And what was the messed up part about that, because Joe Blackburn, which was the other game director before the one we got now, he had just made the PvP Strike Force for Destiny to add updates to the PvP in Destiny. We was going years without any maps and stuff, and then Joe's like, I'm a PvP fan as well, we finna finally change this around. And we got a little bit of change. We got the extra maps and we got some couple sandbox changes, and then we were doing like the checkmate tests and stuff with more gunplay and less ability and stuff. He was actually making some ish rock. Some ish was getting shook in the PvP community, and I'm a PvP fan. And they had to take that group and throw it on Marathon. So Destiny 2 never got any more development for PvP after that. Like, it was just done with. After Final Shape, there were no more updates to PvP at all. And then after the layoffs of Final Shape, they took more staff from Destiny to work on Marathon because of all the art scandal stuff. They had to hurry up and get development happening on Marathon to hit a release date in March this year to meet the deadline for Sony, which left Bungie with a skeleton crew, which was bad because Edge of Fate ended up being a terrible flop, and Bungie needed a crew to bounce back from that, but there was no crew there to bounce back from that. And we kind of noticed this because we started seeing a lot of terrible bugs in Destiny that was very common, that we weren't used to, right? And we noticed this in Edge of Fate, just a lot of bugs. We had to Sword Hilt being able to one-shot people, and the Stern and Drain doing dumb damage. It was a fun time for players, and then but it was buggy. It was buggy. There was other bugs, like game-breaking bugs in the game. It's like I can't complete the mission and stuff, and people characters was getting deleted and stuff. Like, it was terrible. It was terrible, and it was immediately you could tell like there was no one there working at Bungie to keep quality at hand. And when Ash and Iron came out, like Ash and Copper, you could really tell the content quality had dropped based on what they gave us. And then immediately people was like, we need to go back to seasonal content, or even freaking episodes, because the content, formula y'all going right now ain't doing so hot for us. It's not doing good. But they couldn't do anything because they had a skeleton crew. Most of their people that they needed, the extra staff they needed, either got laid off or thrown into the Marathon staff. And then Marathon used up too much money for development to end up being just a decent game instead of a amazing record-breaking game. It's not pulling the numbers and profits that Bungie needs right now. It's just not. And they needed that extra money to get more staff people inside the office to help with Destiny, but it didn't happen. And because of having less staff, then we end up getting the delay to the mid-season update, Shadow and Order. We started getting lies about a roadmap. Roadmap never happened because there wasn't enough people working for it to get processed quicker. Then we got radio silence of content for 5 months, back in January. Making and then when Marathon dropped, Marathon ended up getting more staff transferred over to their side. Ended up having more workers at Marathon than Bungie, after a month of it being out. So, it ended up where Destiny is now, where more layoffs are happening at Bungie after June update, which is, hate to hear it, man. Hate to hear it. So there's some nuance there. Did Marathon kill Destiny? Sorta, but it was chains of events that led to Marathon having to take all these resources and stuff and staffmen from Destiny. It wasn't just flat out, oh yeah, Bungie was like, yeah, we're just gonna focus on Marathon. And then after Destiny lost so much ill will from all the lying and the no communication and terrible products, Destiny probably just looked at it as like, we made so much ill will with our community over here. It's probably better for us to just go full blown Marathon, try to get a new a start fresh basically. If we keep our communication good on Marathon and stuff, and these people play Marathon, we can build a big community over here in Marathon. Only problem is, Marathon is a PvP extraction shooter. It's not a PvE game to play with your friends and do raids and dungeons and stuff. There's still not a game out there that replicates what Destiny 2 had. Destiny as a franchise had. And I don't know if we ever gonna find a game developers that come out with something that had the same magic, sadly. So I want to touch on some statements that I've been hearing and kind of debunk or speak on that in the community that's been going on since they heard Destiny's being left. So the first one is, let go, the game was 11 years old. It was a live service game. Do y'all not know what live service is? The whole purpose of a live service game is to last for multiple years and stay out there as long as they meeting, consumer needs and everybody having fun and money's being met. Destiny done it for 10 years, and usually they say in business, if a company stays doing something good for 10 years, there's a high chance they can keep it up. And Destiny, if they just ended at Final Shape and actually made Destiny 3, they could have made Destiny last another 10 years. So I don't know where the sentiment is like, did y'all really think the game's gonna last forever? That's what live service is. What are y'all talking about? What are y'all talking about? And before people say, maybe they want to work on a new project. No, there was a lot of love behind Destiny in this community. A lot of developers, they are sad that it's leaving, and they love Destiny just as much as a lot of us were in this universe and stuff. And they have future plans, lore, and everything for it. And some of it's coming out as well. They didn't want to work on a new game. They wanted to work on their game and keep making it better and keep telling new stories in the same universe. And sadly, a lot of mistakes happen when it comes to the leaders at Bungie. It sucks. Good, the game is dead. Marathon is better and Destiny community is toxic. Newsflash buddies, majority of Marathon's community are old Destiny players. Literally. 70% of them are. 70 to 80% of the Marathon community are people that play Destiny as well. So if you think that the Destiny community is toxic, the Marathon community is toxic as well. They're part of the same niche. Okay? Part of the same community. And saying Marathon's better, I have 175 hours in Marathon, rolling over to 200. If Destiny had came out in its prime in the same time as Marathon, I'd probably have like 400 hours in Destiny right now. I like both games. Marathon is good. I don't hate the game. I enjoy the PvP aspect of it and stuff. But I do not get the same Destiny magic with Marathon. I don't get the same itch. Marathon cannot get that many arrows out of me. I play with my friends, we have fun, and then I hop off. I don't touch the game for a few days until we decide to hop back on again. It don't have that same addiction as Destiny. It just don't. It just don't. It's a very niche game genre. It's one of those seasonal games. I hop on for a few. You know, it's like Fortnite. I may hop on with the friends, have a little fun. Yeah, I don't touch the game for a while. It's just one of those type of things. It's never going to be better than Destiny in this universe. It's just not. I've seen a lot of people hating on this statement. Destiny and Marathon can't coexist. Some people took it in a different perspective. They seen it as, oh, one has to die in order for, you know, one to live. But no, they couldn't coexist because there wasn't enough staff people. Marathon flourished because they took a lot of the resources away from Destiny. And as you can see, Destiny's shutting down now. They didn't have the workforce for it. They both could not coexist together. They just couldn't. It sucks, but that's just what it is. That's the realism behind it. I'm seeing some bootlickers out there saying the community is the reason why Destiny is ending. Just like the info I just said towards the beginning part of this video, it was a lot of mismanagement inside the company itself. This have nothing to do with the community. The community is very vocal and passionate. They just wanted the game to be better, and as you can see, Bungie did listen to a lot of the feedback that the community wanted. That's coming out in the June update, and I can promise you that they had more staff people. It took them 5 months to listen to what the player feedback wanted and stuff. This clearly was something they was already going to do for the community, and they just had to drop it right now in June because they're leaving. If they had took this 5 months and did it last year when Edge of Fate failed, if they took them 5 months of the dry period before Renegade came out and dropped what we getting right now in June in Renegade, they probably could have bounced back. I'm not gonna lie, they probably could have bounced back because I know this is gonna be amazing in June for a last hurrah. It's gonna be amazing, but yeah, it's not because of the community. It's not because of the community. You're a consumer at the end of the day. You spent your money on this, and you expect you to get your money's worth. It kind of sucks. We all spent $100 for this year of Edge of Fate and Renegade, and literally the time period between Edge of Fate and Ash and Iron was dry with barely any content. The Ash and Iron came out. Ash and Iron to December for Renegade was dry because they only gave us probably like 2 weeks worth of content that you probably can enjoy with Ash and Iron. Then Renegade came out, and you was only able to enjoy Renegade in December. Once January hit, they literally hit for a 5 month span of no content. They trickled in there Iron Banner finally when it was gone forever, and Guardian games that was boring as well with no new event. So like, I can understand how some consumers can be pissed off because like, you pay for a year worth of content, and it feels like we was drip fed content throughout the whole year for the money what we spent. Five months of this year we spent, we got nothing. You know what I'm saying? So like, I can understand why consumers are mad. You're spending your money. Toxic positivity in the Marathon community, the loyal defenders. I've been seeing y'all on Twitter, man. There's a difference between positivity and being delusional. If someone is throwing facts at you, just because you don't like the state of the game and the facts. Again, I enjoy Marathon. Marathon's a good game. It's a good game. It's the reason why I got that many hours into it. It's a good game, but I'm not delusional. I see the player count. It's not doing good. I see the aspects inside the game. It's not something everybody can jump into and enjoy, okay? It's not something that I see longevity with. It's definitely one of them games you hop on for a few weeks and you stop playing it until the next season. It's okay to be a realist and see the potential, right? But being toxic and saying it's good enough to replace Destiny, that's not real. That's delusional. It would never replace Destiny. Destiny is a more PvE-ish game, casual game where you can play raids and dungeons and have fun with your friends and stuff. Marathon not that. Marathon is a try-hard PvP competitive game, extraction shooter. That's not open for a lot of people that just want to come home, hop on a game, and chill and play a casual game. Destiny was my comfort game. I can hop on it after work or something, de-stress, have fun with my friends and stuff. I don't have to think about it really. I can just have fun. And if I want something competitive, I'll do a day one raid or a day one dungeon or hop in competitive PvP. Marathon don't got that. Marathon don't have no day one raid to play with your friends. Marathon don't have no casual raid dungeon experience. They added PvE inside Marathon. Don't expect much. There's not Destiny. It's not going to be damage numbers. You don't have a build crafting using your skills and abilities and stuff. It's just not that. Okay, it's not that. You're coping if you're trying to compare the two. Don't be over here trying to give false hope to Destiny people, just to play your game because you're trying to get a higher player count. It's just not that. Some games are made for people and some not. And a strategy shooter is not made for everybody. You can't tell the Destiny player, well, they adding PvE is not the same PvE though. It's a whole different UI and game mechanics and everything from Destiny to Marathon. The only thing they got to get the same together is the Tiger engine. The guns may feel the same and shoot the same. Other than that, the whole concept is different. There's no damage numbers in Marathon when you shoot enemies and stuff. You're not trying to build craft and get your damage buffs and damage debuffs and stuff. It's none of that, okay? There's no storytelling and all that type of stuff. There's none of that, okay? Do I believe Marathon should have took a different approach? Yes. I feel like Marathon should have launched like Division 1. I feel like 80% of the game should have been PvE so that you can enjoy the story and the universe of Marathon, because Marathon has some good lore behind it. They should have made that 80% of the game is PvE and then 20% can be just like Division, where you got the Dark Zone and that's the PvP extraction shooter portion, just like Division. Division started it all with the extraction shooter right there, right? Marathon could have took the same approach. So then if Destiny died like it's doing now, going away, I would have hope that Marathon could be the replacement, because it would have had the lure, it would have had the PvE, it would have had the build crafting and stuff, and then it still would have the extraction shooter, dark, grainy aspect about it, about killing each other and starting over and, becoming God and stuff. It would still have that. I don't know what didn't make them take that approach. I don't know why they put themselves in such a small box. The small box would have worked if Destiny was going to still be the main breadwinner and the main focus, but Marathon got delayed so many times. It didn't come out early enough to be that stable breadwinner, passive income on the side while Destiny gets the focus. It didn't get that moment because of all the issues. So yeah, it's Marathon is not finna be that new Destiny. We're just gonna keep it real. It's not. Drop the copium. It's just the real spiel about it, okay? It's not. It's not Destiny, it's Marathon. And Marathon is good with its own universe and stuff, but it would not compare to Destiny. It's not one of those games, okay? To wrap this video up, what makes this so sad about the Destiny situation, it didn't happen like Destiny 1. Destiny 1, we had our last expansion. They told us Destiny 1 was ending. We knew Destiny 2 was coming. We had a future. So people was okay to wait for Destiny 2 to come out. And Destiny 1 ended with a great content, to the point that you can still go back to Destiny 1 and enjoy all the stories and stuff. Nothing was taken out. And they still got great mechanics and stuff inside Destiny 1. You can still go back and enjoy it. Destiny 2, on the other hand, a lot of content is gone, so you can't just go into it and enjoy the full story and stuff over. And even though we finna get a lot of greatness in June, the fact we have no future is the problem. First, all the lying and radio silence for 5 months and the disrespect to the community is a part of it. But also too, after the radio silence and gassing us up saying, don't worry, you're finna get an update in June and stuff, and then the update ended up being the game is closing down, not, oh, we finna tell y'all what the future of Destiny and y'all finna get some expansions and stuff. That's the sad part, because no one knows the future now. There was nothing in there that said Destiny 3 happening. It's been debunked. They already said Destiny 3 is not in development right now. Layoffs finna happen after June in Bungie. All Bungie finna have is Marathon. And since Marathon has a less player base, less of a community than Destiny by a great considerable amount, I don't think Marathon has enough profit to bring in for Bungie as a studio to stay open. It's just not possible. Destiny has so much Eververse and stuff. They will make so much money from that. Marathon don't have that. Okay? And I see Marathon trying to get better at their skins, because I guess the people from Destiny finna be working on skin stuff in Marathon now. The people that did get transferred over to that studio, that part of the studio now. So So, but even still, they just, again, they don't have like emotes and stuff, and some people not finna spend $40 to play marathon to even get into the game. They just not finna do that. A lot of players not finna play marathon as well. They finna go to Destiny at once it comes out in June. So the player count for marathon, even though the season started a week before, that player count finna drop, because like I said, 70 to 80% of players that play marathon are Destiny players, and they definitely will be playing Destiny over marathon, especially since they know it's finna close down. So if you're a marathon loyalist that been talking toxic about Destiny stuff, you truly don't understand. Y'all only got a year. Y'all numbers right now are as low as like companies that we seen close down, like Highguard and stuff, right? Games that we seen close down. Y'all only got a year. It's probably a contract that Bungie have to, Sony have to keep Marathon around for a year to see its progress until the next year's status report from Sony that happened in May recently. Marathon has a year. And this is me being a realist, knowing the gaming community and the niche and stuff. I don't see a world of Marathon bringing in the same player count that Destiny had. Destiny was in a dying state as it is right now, and it got more player count than Marathon right now. And I don't think a season wipe can bring that back. And based on what they say they're bringing in season 2 Marathon, it's still the same gameplay loop. And I don't think that's big enough to get casual players to say they're finna come over and play Marathon. Even Marathon added PvE mode. Marathon not finna have strikes. Marathon not finna have raids. Marathon not finna have dungeons. It's just not that type of game. They can add a PvE mode, but it's all it's gonna be is just it's gonna be the same sandbox. It's just gonna be people shooting their robots. They got great AI in there. Don't get it twisted. But if you fought the compiler, you know how simple the mechanics were for fighting the compiler in Marathon. It was nothing crazy like Destiny's raids and dungeons and stuff, right? So yeah, it's just not gonna replace that hole. It's not gonna replace that hole. And because majority players of Marathon are Destiny players, you're not finna get just a lot of brand new players willing to just hop in a Marathon out of nowhere. And I truly just don't believe, and this is not me doom posting, this is just me being a realist. I just don't believe that they'll be able to do a 180 and somehow get hundreds of thousands of people wanting to play Marathon. I just don't see it happening. I see Bungie's future being very bleak, and I see Bungie getting consumed by Sony by next year. That's what I see, especially since more layoffs happening. That's what I see. Yeah, man. Yeah, and people be like, well, Rainbow Six Siege reversed it. They had streamers and stuff making it more popular. They did a lot of free-to-play moments, and people look at people look at Rainbow Six Siege and stuff, and they know it's PvP. They want that grainy army feel style, tactical shooter style. Marathon, again, majority of this player base were Destiny players. It's a very niche extraction shooter, and even they do free to play. All the Destiny players, they played the server slam. That's why I had so many players when in the server slams, like 140 some thousand people playing it. Them Destiny players, they played that free to play moment to play Marathon to try to give Bungie a shot and support their team, support their game, their company, and it didn't hit for majority of them, and they left. Some people played Marathon and bought it. They played it for a few and they left. I just don't think Marathon have that pull, that popularity to bring more players. And I don't think Sony will spend even more money on trying to Destiny-fy Marathon. What I mean by Destiny-fy it, as in like, oh, we finna add a campaign story mode into Marathon. Oh, we finna add freaking dungeon experiences and raid experiences in Marathon for day ones and stuff. I don't see that happening. And not within a year. Not within a year. Not with the money and stuff. I don't see it happening. And even then, is it good enough for people to say I'm willing to drop $40 to enjoy this campaign, even though they know the main core of the game is PvP extraction? And then you got the people inside Marathon that enjoys Marathon. They don't want PvE in the game because it's not the core mechanic of the game, which I agree is not the core mechanic of the game. So yeah, I was grieving yesterday, but I wanted to get my last video out on Destiny. Will y'all see some videos from me playing Destiny in June? Who knows? We'll see. I was known for doing build videos and people enjoy my builds, but we don't really need build videos when there's nothing coming in the future for you to tackle when it comes to like raids and dungeons and stuff. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm going to enjoy the last moments of Destiny, but it definitely is a sad moment for me. It definitely is a sad moment. Love you guys. Appreciate you guys always. And until next time, stay up.